All right, Jim, thanks for your time this afternoon. What we're going to show you here today is something that Scott has already previewed to Ron, but we wanted to get some feedback from you and work towards getting your endorsement here because we've got an exciting project that we're ready to get hit the ground running with. So let's dive right in. The concept that we have is a new portfolio company we're calling 3T Mining. That's trash to treasure mining with the clever slogan, turn another man's trash into your treasure. So, we've been taking some of the feedback and the mandates that we've been getting from our investors who are screaming for some, green focused investment opportunities. And what we've discovered is that about 15% of all methane, which is a greenhouse gas, is in the domestic United States is produced from municipal solid waste landfills, which are spread all over the country, usually situated near some of the higher population density locations. And what we found is that most of this methane is either flared directly on site, right, as a safety precaution because it's combustible, or it's being vented directly into the atmosphere. So if you think about the, just simple combustion formula here, I'm no chemist, but, methane is about the simplest hydrocarbon molecule. And when you combust it with oxygen, you create CO2 and H2O, but then there's a whole bunch of heat that's released too. So when we're flaring all this gas on site, we're creating a tremendous amount of heat that is currently not being utilized. And so we went looking for, concepts or ways that we can actually utilize this heat and actually create value from it to turn this emissions problem into an opportunity in a potential investment. What really got us excited is when you look at the year over year, sort of trend of methane that's being produced by these landfills, we were sort of very surprised and encouraged by the sort of steadiness and the reliability, predictability of this methane. So think of this as like we have an energy source that is very stable, is predictable, and when you study the science of these landfills and how they generate this gas, there is some decline over time, but it's predictable, and we think that we can use it to forecast and actually project and sort of help us underwrite some of our investments which capture this gas. So capturing landfill gas is not a new concept, but the sort of conventional models and the strategies incorporated just require these very large projects and very large amounts of daily gas being generated. And so the plot that we're looking at here, all the solid dots are currently existing landfill projects, landfill gas capture projects, whereas the transparent dots are all of the landfills that are reporting to the EPA currently. And I've annotated in here this line at about 1 million cubic feet of methane produced a day, where there seems to be this economic floor that it's a very underserved market for the smaller landfills that are only producing smaller volumes of gas a day. And so we thought that there's a tremendous opportunity to capture and target just those sort of situations. And the reason for this is that, there's just so many steps. The gas that's produced by these landfills tends to be dirty. And so to get it to the correct spec, to deliver it to the final end user of it, just require these very high cost processing steps. So we took some inspiration from the oil and gas industry, which has been taking these lower rate, late life gas wells in very remote areas. And they've actually been putting and placing on these well sites these cryptocurrency mining systems that have this very small footprint, right? Basically, they utilize an electrical generator where they hook up the fuel supply directly from the wellhead to the generator, and then straight to them that powers the cryptocurrency mining modules. And what's so cool about this is that it's been proven, it's now become commonplace in the oil and gas industry, and also is tremendously scalable. Basically, you just can hook these things, these modules up in series, and then just all you need to do is provide the right amount of power that you need to run these units. And they're completely unmanned. They require very little maintenance. Very, very interesting concept. So what we want to bring now to these landfill sites is this just kind of direct fuel connection straight from the landfill gathering system straight to these engines and straight to the crypto mining modules and server systems. We're specifically targeting as kind of the primary targets these landfills where there's currently no capture systems in place. But this plot down here is showing this is only looking at currently existing projects, right? And we get up into some of the very large landfills that have systems in place. But what we're finding is even on the larger scale, The x-axis is showing you their daily generation rate, and then the y-axis is showing the actual utilization of that total amount of gas. So there's an also secondary opportunity to go and work with some of these current existing projects and actually piggyback and help them to actually utilize more. Some of the bigger projects have less than 50% utilization rate. So there are secondary opportunities here. So what 3T has done is we've basically taken, the greenhouse gas reporting program from the EPA, which has all of this data that's reported for the municipal solid waste sector. We've married that then with the landfill methane outreach program, which is another separate component of the EPA database. So we've married these two data sets together, and then also merged that with some census and data. And then also some of the zip code metro area definitions from the United States Postal Service. And what this has allowed us to do is to go and actually aggregate, total uncaptured methane rates by metro area as a way to go and identify candidates and municipalities that we can approach about deploying, our cryptocurrency mining systems in their location, servicing all of the landfills that are currently underutilized in their areas. And then studying a little bit about the sort of the science of how these landfills actually decline over time, we've built some forecast models that allow us to predict methane generation rates into the future. And so using some of these forecasts and what we're showing in these plots are, we're going to target these top 5 candidates that all tend to sit, aside some very big metro areas. When we marry that then with the EPA's, we also have a very good data set that shows us, for a landfill's given production of methane rate versus how much power that they're able to generate for these existing programs, we get an excellent model, and it's very predictive and a nice linear model that we can say, okay, here is how much power that we should expect to generate just from kind of conventional off-the-shelf systems. And so using our forecast, using our power generation model, where we've been able to have that all flow into our cryptocurrency cash flow model. So Scott has really addressed sort of like the hashing rate. We have a lot of backup to support how these mining servers are able to mine Bitcoin, but basically it's a function of your server power against how much energy that you're providing your servers. So we've been able to build some cash flow forecasts using our kind of crypto discovery rate versus the decline of our methane rates over time. And what we're seeing are some very, very compelling economics. So what's next? What we're seeking is endorsement on about an $81 million capital program to go out and secure, the mining hardware, the container systems, and also the generators. And we're anticipating about a $2 million a year OpEx profile, which largely will be funded out of cash flow. So we think with just a single investment of capital infusion up front, this will be self-sustaining very, very quickly. We're also exploring all of this from a rental model as well. A lot of this stuff can be rented, so we may not own this. So we could actually get this capital investment, the total capital draw quite a bit lower. But really, our next challenge and our step will be engaging some of these municipalities to get them on board. And we expect that this may be kind of a challenge because we'll be dealing with local politicians and working on getting, profit sharing ratio. But again, we have a lot of backup support here. Look forward to any of your feedback and are very excited by this opportunity. Thank you.